right, welcome. I just wanted to put together a little evening stretch routine. So these are just my favorite stretches. I try to do them every night just to increase my flexibility. And as I do that, I do notice a huge improvement. So just know that this isn't like a legit yoga class. Yoga to me is more trying to link breath with movement. I'm really breathing through things. I'm really limiting distractions. For those evening stretches, or for these evening stretches, half the time I am just like my family's watching a movie and I'm doing stretches, or just right before bed I have like my book out and I'm doing a few stretches just to make sure I get that in. So enjoy, and yeah, for sure try to link breath, breathe through them. But again, if you want to distract yourself with something else, that's okay. Just get the stretch in. That's what we're going for. I like to start first with the reclining strap stretches. These are huge flexibility builders in my mind. So we need a strap. Other things that you might notice I have here today, I put a blanket over my mat here. At home I'm usually just on carpet, and so it's a little softer on the knees and just a little more relaxing. So I've got a blanket, I've got a couple blocks here. Those are just maybes for tonight, but let's go ahead, lean back. Let's place the strap around the ball or arch area of that right foot. And from here we just breathe into it. And I just kind of notice the time and just gently bring that leg down toward your torso. So you'll want to give yourself plenty of strap. What I notice a lot in class, people just not giving themselves enough strap, and they're, either not feeling the stretch or they're not releasing head and neck. So head and neck down, ideally shoulders down as well. Just give yourself plenty of strap and then gently bring that leg over your face. We want to avoid a huge sensation building behind the knee. So if that's you, take that little micro bend. But again, working a straight leg, working to bring the leg over the face. And you can see here my elbows are really bent. If that's you and the strap's a little bit in the way, you're welcome to just bring hands to foot and gently bring the leg down from here. Each of these stretches I try to hold for at least 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes each one, and just trying to get into that fascia, the deep tissue, seeing if we can facilitate a release there. Let's take a few more breaths here. Okay, and again, at any point, if you can hold these longer, if you feel like you can stay longer, just pause, stay longer. But we'll move on to the next stretch, taking both straps into the right hand, gently resting your left hand on your left thigh, and opening that leg over to the right. Now, it's all right if it doesn't reach the floor. We're just trying to open up and feel that stretch in the inner thigh here, and then also gently bringing that leg up toward the head. We'll take a few breaths here. Each exhale, just seeing what you can do to deepen the pose. A little bit more flexible, you might reach that left arm up and over and see if we can bind around. Not for me today. Okay, just kind of go into your body, notice where you're feeling the stretch, breathe some good energy in through there. Then we'll switch again to the third part of this stretch. That's switching both straps into your left hand, bringing your right arm out to a T and gently guiding that leg only. So I really try to keep my hip bones down here. Take leg only over to the left. And just notice that outer hamstring, that IT band. Just notice where you feel that. Some days I'll just stay right here. Other days I'll kind of roll a little bit more to that left hip and let that drop down and enjoying a twist from here. So take a few breaths here. Again, I'm just keeping an eye on our time. Let the shoulders relax down. Be at a place in these stretches where you can breathe. So if you ever notice your breath being really shallow or being, if I notice people grimacing, just kind of grinning and bearing it, you'd want to back off that a little bit. Be at a place where you can breathe. If it's helpful, you can always kind of do these stretches near a wall or your couch so that that leg's propped up a little bit. You have a little bit of support. Okay, let's take another breath here. Again, hold longer if you can, if your time permits. Otherwise, let's come on into a second leg. So release that strap from your right, lift your left up, strap around the ball or arch area of the left, right leg straightens out, and gently bring it in. We'll notice a few breaths here. And immediately I notice this leg is tighter for me, and that's okay. That's normal to have a tighter side. You just want to be more patient with it, but also work it. And if I ever think about it, I try to work this leg first. I just notice that I take a little more time on the first side, not intentionally, just how it is. We'll take a few more breaths. Gently guiding that leg over your face. Okay, again, staying longer here if you can. If you're ready to move on, let's take both straps in the left hand. Right hand rests on that right thigh. We just don't want to be rolling over. So just kind of gently open up. Left leg opening over toward the left. I just kind of keep my gaze neutral, or again, sometimes I'll have the TV on right there and just be stretching and enjoying, feeling your body move. A few more breaths here. Seeing if you can go a little deeper on the exhales. Maybe you want to try that reach your right arm up and over move. Tight side body for me tonight, not a bind, but it still feels nice. Let's switch to that third move whenever you're ready. Just bringing the leg up, both straps come into the right hand. Left arm opens up over to a T. Now we keep our hip bones down to begin with. And just take leg only over toward the right. You might close your eyes or gaze over your left fingertips and just kind of notice that outer hamstring or the IT band area just stretching, gets super tight. Then you might want to hold with this stretch for your minute or two that you're here, or you might want to kind of roll to that right hip a little bit more, let that left leg drop down a little bit more. And then switch your gaze, taking that twist. You might try lifting your shoulder blades up, placing them down again. Couple more breaths here. Then when you're ready, just relax out of that, set the strap to the side, and we'll slowly make our way up to a seated position, just shaking that out a little bit. Next up is a seated forward fold. So you'll lift your arms up, draw your belly in, lengthen that spine out, and fold, hinging from your waist. So we want to avoid rounding back, really tucking chin and bringing forehead down to knees. We'd like to lengthen out through that spine, and again, leaning forward. You might even grab your strap in here and utilize that strap to help you fold a little deeper. Try to stay here for 5, 10, 15 breaths, a few minutes. Relaxing deeper into the stretch on each exhale. You'll notice, oh, I'm rounding. Lengthen that out again. Bringing chest down toward thighs. And it's okay if you round. I just like to say there's just a little bit better ways to stretch your back. And a lot of times that's where people hold a lot of their tension. So we want to just be a little bit careful with where we do back stretches. Stretching the hamstrings will help release lower back tension. But if we're really rounded here, you might come out with a little bit more tension. So just keep that spine as long as you can. Okay, last breath or so, unless you can pause it and stay longer. Great job. Slowly coming on out of this. Yep, I rounded again. It's okay, no big deal. All right, give it a little shake. We'll come on into a pigeon. This is an outer hip stretch. I want to show you a couple options. So if you're relatively new to yoga, it might be best to come to your knees. From knees, we're taking our left knee kind of toward our left wrist and our left toes over toward our right wrist. As your hands are at the top of your blanket or your mat, you would settle down into kind of a backward number 7 shape. Now you might notice this foot really wanting to come in. That's okay. We just don't want to point the toe and have it all the way in and be sitting like on our shin. We'd like to keep our foot in flexion and then draw that right hip down, and you'll notice the stretch go into your outer left hip. Now, if this is a bit much, you might bring a block in, and we can place the block in under that left hip for this side, and that helps your knee not to be in so much extension. Some people also will put block under right thigh. That helps them. Okay, other people, it's a lot of pressure on their back knee, and they might want to just bring that knee out into 90-90. So these are all great options with Pigeon. Settle into the option that serves you very best. And I'm going to face the camera and show one more option. So again, if you're holding the single leg pigeon, then you'd want to come and be able to hopefully get off your wrists. And this is another way, using your blocks to get off your wrists, just coming to your forearms. If you wanted to try a double pigeon, I'm just going to face the camera and with my left shin down, bring my right foot just above left knee. And from here, we're stretching both hips, okay? So if we're in this and feeling any pain sensation, we'd come out and come into our single leg pigeon or 90-90. But if you're able to stretch both at the same time, it's just a little more bang for your buck, okay? We're going to stay here for a minute or so, breathing in. Some people might be able to walk their hands forward, keeping that long back. What we'd like to see in this is toe, knee, knee, toe. Okay, so we don't want to have our bottom foot way in. You want it out a little bit. Couple of breaths here. This one's always a big one for me, but I'm noticing as I do it every night, it's working. The flexibility is happening. Okay, if we have an option to stay longer, pause it and take that option. If you're ready to come on out, double pigeon, we just kind of swing around, can the legs, put the right leg down, left leg on top. If you're in your single leg pigeon, that your left shin is in front, I like to down dog out of it, planting your hands at the top of the mat, lifting up, briefly pedaling feet out, and then we would just bring right knee toward right wrist, right toes toward left wrist. We came in from knees last time, so if you wanted knees down, we just draw that right shin forward, however you want to get there, settling in into any props that you might need. And then see if getting off your wrists is an option. If it's not, it's okay to stay lifted here on fingertips or wrists. Settle in and breathe. I'm going to take that double pigeon since I did on the other side. Right shin down, left on top. Settling in here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Sometimes I just will open and close my jaw a few times. I tend to build a lot of tension through my jaw. So just relaxing where you can. Maybe you're leaning forward if you're in double pigeon with me. If you're in single pigeon, just drawing that chest down toward the floor just a little bit more. Couple more breaths. All right, let's slowly move out of this. We'll take a brief straddle now, bringing your legs out. If you're in your single pigeon, just utilize the length of your mat. Inhale and exhale, maybe walking hands forward. If this is really uncomfortable for you, it's nice to grab a block in, sit on a block. Then your legs, your hips aren't in so much extension. You have a little bit more wiggle room here. A wedge or a folded blanket is even nicer. Okay, so if you're on a block, you won't be able to walk out. It's probably a little bit much, but we would just work this flexibility right here. Off the block, again, walking those hands out to your level. If ever the opportunity presents itself to rest your head on something, I'm showing stacking a couple blocks here. I've just noticed being able to rest your head, you're able to let go of a little bit of tension in your lower body. We'll hold here for a couple more breaths. Okay, slowly backing out of this. Keep one block handy. We're coming into my favorite back bend to end this little stretch session with. We'll slowly roll down and plant your feet. Hip distance apart, lift those hips up, place the block under the pelvis area, and then straighten one leg out at a time, maybe straightening both out. So if both is a bit much, just alternate one at a time. Arms can be down by your side if you wanted a little bit more, arms up above your head. Now I'm noticing that my block feels a little bit off, so if you're like me and it just takes you a moment to settle that in, bend your knees again, get that block settled in right under your pelvis or your sacrum, that big triangular bone at the base of your spine, the most supportive place. And from here, just trying to notice hip flexors stretching, a nice gentle back bend, really supported. So if you're not feeling that, come on out and just take a modified bridge, which is just bent knees, lifting your hips up. But if you're able to hold this supported bridge still for a few breaths and enjoy. we'll begin to come out, bringing your arms down by your sides, planting your feet, lift your hips. We'll slowly roll on out. That concludes our little restorative, just stretch, evening stretch session. I recommend doing these at least a few times a week. I try to do them every night, and I'm feeling pretty great. So enjoy. Thanks for practicing. Namaste.